about that. Okay, so I've been meaning this for quite a while now. Oh, French rework and all that. So before we get started over here, so big old thing is basically just an explanation of why they are why they're changing it, all that. I'll probably split this up into two parts, one with the explanation for it and the other for the actual changes themselves. But this part, this will probably be the changes. This will probably gonna be uploaded first before anything. So I might just upload the explanation later, but as I'm recording, I'm gonna be doing like the big old changes that are gonna be coming out with the French rework. I've been meaning to do this for quite a long while. Just kept kind of pushing it back, but hopefully now we're gonna actually get started. So, as I said before, this part's gonna be like, you know, what will actually be changed and all the leaves and all that. But the other part would probably be the explanation stuff, so I might upload that first. For me, it's gonna be backwards if I do that, but I kind of want to get the explanation of like what's actually gonna be in this mod update for Red Flood before we actually get into like the nitty gritty and all that. So for this part, it's gonna be the explanation. So I'm gonna be reading this on. First in depth look at the new French rework, starting with a quick travel on the lore. In 1920, French put survived in the mystic chaos of the First World War and the damage caused by les foes, breaking of the and Secchi, Action Francais under George Baron also established the Fourth French Republic, breaking a hard left it lost control when in 1924, vision of the Pope they attempted to begin the restoration of the House of Orleans. This caused immense rioting and almost plunged France into a civil war, while Antonin told your boy, with the back of the Ascot drawn and Andre Breton, they would placate the mob. I told him becoming mayor of Paris. However, in 1920, when the reins of the national government changed hands again, I told begin the Southern Republic, which culminated in the renaming of affairs to Les Orly in 1934. The more widely was swiftly put down by Ascot John, with all not talking except Le Patron on the anniversary of affairs communist founding. Again, this is the condensed version, so you can read the full overview here. I'm not gonna read that. I'll link probably link the subreddit in case you wanna actually read this, but I won't be doing it pretty long. These from 1917. 1934. The years from 1934 to 1935 we covered in the focus. We can see started off with some of the focus being partially complete. Everything that work done by the government from 1934 to 1930 breaking the ground, pushing through some early reforms. What was that here? Yeah, this would be the new starting focus tree for France over here. So we have the spirit of 71. You see some, actually quite a bit of the focus tree. The left, right, and half of the center. Got meeting good in the gin, solving the land question, clashing bureaucracy, beating this one up, being offended, Regis here, against hereditary privilege, strangling the last king, made promises kept, so it's probably going to be dealing with like internal stuff, stabilizing the futurist regime, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be changed with the French rework. It's going to be a futurist, it's going to be futurism, not accelerationism. The government already was going to be changed. Because futurism is more what actually accelerationism is. Accelerationism, well, it is a real ideology. The mod doesn't really follow that. It follows futurism, so they're going to be changing that quite a bit. And so we got the anti-Illyrian campaign, facilitating some retirements, root them out, we need new management from the top to the bottom, the Army Abolition Act, and the voucher. So, it'll be, and this for the whole part preventing a coup, if I remember correctly. We put the current Red Flood French focus tree. The global theater, salvage the Caribbean, Civil de Saint Martin, or Saint Nalangisa, root of Haiti. I guess over here, the only like real thing we do is see if we can. Since they post Algiers or Saint Nicolas, maybe and the rest. So, I don't know exactly how. Well, since most of this focus tree is complete. You know, you like to see what they are, or like what happened if you say none gives or anything like that. But we've seen, I guess, like the world. Edu, Montsalé, Edu state, Paulon, in it, Bacon Hostin La, Bevan now, As your deadlines, prepare the elections, let the people sing, but keep the harmony. Hold your left fronts and to the polls. So yeah, I think this whole focus really about elections. So I can see to the polls. So I'm pretty sure that means that Leopatron is gonna be the. It's basically gonna be allowed to lead if I remember correctly. If it if I'm, it's been like yeah, he's get tell. It's been a while since I've seen this, so I don't quite remember. I'm pretty sure that it means that you'll now be able to choose the leaders, but there's gonna be some interesting stuff gonna be going on, like with your leaders. You do is like with the Druidess, let's get drawn and all that. I'm gonna explain over here. With the scene, France is to think of handling its colonial policy as the instability produces this a large battle on our overseas as well. France on the road, the autocratic grip, see, listen up. The far sign futurist democracy among French lines, however. Futurist democracy, you see, by this event. How this French is beset with enemies from within and without, as some Christian so-called futurist democracy is Sam. These people who are the part affiliated with the Lunaires are gone to look at their wounds without what I pose out to sustain record time. Are hearing to be the voice of the people and saying up and on the right as opposed to the illegitimate advisor. As those who make up the modern center are part of the Lunaires. And the puppy. Read these later. I'm gonna make this a three-parter, who knows? Just for reading the events. Because it's pretty late this time of recording, so I'm probably just gonna read these later. Oh, the idea connection between two certainly don't help. But one side of the Fang is the by Democrats and either, although for different reasons. Many ask John feel this is the first up to the downfall of the spirit of France and thus acted in part to vanguard the future, working to take the force of living and make sure democracy will be done the way that they want. The finality committed to cover the various factions of France for more in-depth, explain the various roles of holding in some cases. For the other states, I would ask John led by the service board Le Capitan, Gamela Paner. This is him. Second primary for all men of France, this group of French youth sporting dashing looks and blue weapons from the backbone of the state acted as primarily National Guard, Army, Secret Police, and National Vanguard feature them all one with chosen Ungetze. The aviator over here. The innovative man of the military measures with Valentine Saint Depaire. The left hand with the woman's political what they compass survive already view the futurism also compassing especially any left right that comic that could exist, so yeah. If I might quickly ask a drone can go under Charles or Valentine. Being the right ask a drone, left ask a drone. And I appreciate that fix. I think Cindy mission was like for left ask a drone, you have like more something like that. You tell that it's been a while since I've seen this. I really should do this earlier, but I don't know why I get pushing off. Up next, the party series fancies Andre Bredens, this man over here. Speak about all things serious, staying at this slice of left on most French politics. The BSF serves as the haven for socialist Austrians, rather what the parliament dictated by Britain, although not all forcing as long as tune as one George Bataille. That's the fell man. Certainly knows as a fell. So the unauthorized power standard, although not quite sure exactly what it is. Everyone knows the battalions and own man pursuit don't go above all this. Now to the movie Cardinal Lee is led by Marc Augier. This group barely aging on the right of the fan. It's not like they want to expect to be included, staying on the black sheep of the whole. They put the European land together, linked by heritage and geography, while summoning to a faction disagree in the Pacific. They're all together well enough. And although there are somewhat regulated sidelines, the MC certainly wishes to encourage that. Finally, come across two groups who are also political and more so organized, detailed by I'll say the Cinque Nationale, led by George Valin, but here, Le Patron himself, respectively. Among some key friends went smoothly, and how exactly he runs. But the SN is made of the conversion and syndicates, which know the top to the bottom. The CA is more of a sort of general guiding council within France, made of those coasters, advisors, friends, and visionaries. These two people group their thing. These two groups within the fan, they act as glue, keeping the whole thing moving forward together. But of course, not everyone wishes to defend the keep running, bringing us to the main group, saying the opposition with us in the regime. The Lunaires and rework get at least. Neither the group of liberal conservative moderate centuries, everybody have them, Bill events in 1934 riot. There are people who stand on the inside the regular of the window, and the people who call the most extreme activists of our fans are based mostly around the British by Calais. They claim that the entire future regime was in the tour to put this part of colorful coke carrying out carriers attacks on the region, turning to strike fear into the hearts of the French people. We were getting that's right, a couple more Jews could just spread from the center and I push forward onto the Vandals onwards by the Vandals, sorry. They're trying to create a sway over the rural population to give you a multitude of beliefs, but they hold all focus on real ruralism, peasantry in common, for nationalism that stands both against people dominance and from a cultic identity calling back to each times of Gaul. They can say precisely what the end goal might be, but on the right are heterodox Catholics, ecologically thinking, bred nationalists, rural populace, strange for this, goes to radical environments or Slavic ambition. As I recall, good in French and now saved me told. It's no, that's all. So it's just every time I might as well read the events. Because I went by that a lot faster actually. So as I said before, this part is gonna be what's actually gonna be in the rework. I'll probably make a separate part from when they explain why they're doing the rework. But until then, let's read. I think this is for the elections. Books and ballots. The young boy wrote his name down to paper haphazardly, joining on the words and represented who he was. Mark a bit. Michel Ocon, while only 10, already had a grudge against authority. He did not care much for this societal morals person around him, hence violence class aggravated him so much being forced to learn about the civics of the Republic and France, among other things, but today seemed different as they made things in the times of the day but John took power. As the new teacher walked in, he noticed a pin on his chest bearing a lightning cross and a sneak circle thing. He recognized it from the new flag but never was able to remember the name. He saw the days off. Detention was called on by shops and a bookshop on the desk. Hello class, my name is Monsieur Lermer and I'll be your new teacher. Today we'll be learning about democracy in the classroom. The same boring stuff about voting, democracy, and republic. They're going to sick and tired of it. Futurist democracy, that is. This only caught the class attention even though Michel left his potato off the people to listen closely. Curious about how the new government worked, but nothing in detail, and he was a quite curious boy. Monsieur Lermer against left with a simple question. So, I assume you all know what futurism is, anyone? Looking across the sea of students and seeing them reply, indeed. Futurism is an idea about leaving behind the past and embracing the future. Ideologies and groups of ideas that people follow. In France follows futurism. You're all too young to remember probably, but France used to be a very bad place. Thanks to futurism and the patron, we're doing a lot better now. People are happy and free, and they only gain happier and more free with each passing day. Mr. Lerma looked around the room and cracked a smile as he realized he had the entire class captivated. Now you may be asking, how does any of this tie democracy? Well, futurism is unique in that it can be many things, and one of those things is democracy. The Britons authorized an election coming up soon on the end of the Great Revolution to secure the avant-garde shade. Soon you too will be the as well. Jedi shined with prospect. Yet her was apparent that Toad was a madman ruling with an iron fist. Clearly very long. If Toad was so cruel, how could he have saved France? How could he be letting people vote? For now they voted, we shall do one thing. Futurism is great. Indeed. Now I got to move on now. As I say it. It was early morning. Larry Fairbairn was saying they sent to his train station, which was usually crowded. He was staring to his old watch as if it was make the train come sooner. In the middle of the mass, he just pipe up and started to look at the surroundings. He was changing archery and all heading to this as part of the political landscape. His future was quoted Maritini, so liberals returned their placards and one will represent every idea president in renewed France. Mixing the crowd, he also noticed some Ascot drum members walking around nervously. The train was 12 minutes late, he concluded. Bored, he reached his bag wearing a pamphlet. The pamphlet speaking to the man wearing the French flag and shouting as the cover crowd followed him. Antoinette Herveau, as I said. I requested nevertheless about to do exactly that, making his voice heard. After witnessing the horrors of the war, he returned to his homeland torn apart. He felt disillusioned by the fall of progress, so I told him I'd keep saving France from the ruin turmoil. Although he sympathized with the avant-garde, the man still considered himself a moderate. If true democracy was advanced, maybe the wing of the futurists or liberals, he didn't care. Many promised democracy, but most failed to deliver. While the Republic promised democracy, it said almost led the country into civil war. Duma promised democracy. Instead, he failed to unite the nation. At last, the Fang promised democracy. Now they kept their word. Though it's so far the Fang promoted direct self-representation and planned to travel to Leslie, it makes his voice heard. As the approaching train returned him to prison, the crowd began to bustle. As the man looked around for the last time, he didn't waste much time as a new possibility waited for him in the capital. What was the closest to futurist democracy? Elliot. 5 meters. Hold on. Sorry about that. My leg feels stupid. Even it happens. Yeah, sorry about that, but anyway, let's continue on with Prolonged End. The research and friendly steps around the order must be achieved by a new process, by which all the people of France have a genuine saying and working in the government, only by the liberated people shall we destroy the last vestige of reactionary thought, and shall the people build a truly democratic society. To this end, all anti-reactionary figures have the right to stand for election. Lucien de Tonnerre was a rising star local poet, born and raised in Orleans. He was the generally rich, although born before the war, had fresh ideas and outlook on life, the kind which would take France into the future. Although he shamefully happened to be a liberal, he still had high hopes that he could work with what he had. With the base of support, who wouldn't feel confident? Although election day was still some time off, Tonnerre was walking down the street. Customers and people with a great cheer, and at some point the crowd would pick him up, carry him along the line, but wait and shout towards everyone. What was everyone so excited about anyways? The people of France, of course. The Great War had done more than kill millions, it also ripped apart the nation. Most of the people turned to the streets for those who remember the experiences of that war and its aftermath. Many people, however, survived their dreams to survive. A dream of people who had suffered, in spite of history punctured by war and barbarism, they kept within themselves an image of a perfect future. Without such, they could not have survived the war, though feared pain. France hurtled toward the darkness to bring the light. Tonnerre looked toward the faces of the crowd of young children in the streets and thought to himself they would lived enough light. The crowd let him walk down and he walked into the building. What's our destination? Ball ends in November. There it is. The hell makes you think I'm with them? Shouted the man of the gang, which milling around the cotton garden. It was a nice place out in the country belonging to a man who just so happened to not only be so far away from people that could help him at a time. Obviously, the man locked the door and windows, but they had broken in, forced him to clamber up into the roof for safety. There was a gang were inside the cars, poking their head down the window and shouting at him, but their leader was in the garden, smoking the cigarette and admiring roses. The escadron needed men like him, folks that could get the message across. He put a banner saying, "Vote Tonnerre" in the window, shouted one of them. And for the effort, he waved the inside window at the unfortunate fellow. What does he have to do with them? He had to beat up everyone here if he wanted to stop people voting for him. The gang all looked at each other and started laughing. The leader snorted, took out a long drag and seemed off, fingering a particularly fine rose. The crimson petals felt so soft that you could forget it for being the same planet of brutally sharp thorns. You bastard, you think that democracy is funny? Of course not, I shouted back to Leah. What's funny is the escadron has a different idea of what counts as democracy. You can vote for whoever you want democracy. People will stay for anything else, he screamed. Then we tried to stand up a few times, broke him, slip off the roof, forcing him to squat down on the ground or something and feel less. That's why we're here to make sure they don't. We'll let you down as long as we don't see any of the nonsense about voting for Tonnerre anymore. Fuck off. Then we'll set your heads on fire. I'll burn with it. From down the garden, the visions they put a cigarette on the very rose he had been devoured, squishing deeply. So you shall. Yes, futurist democracy, indeed. Level up. If you can keep up, this will be the last event today for I am recording. Well, I've been hosting tours, normally rallies conjure up images of animated madmen springing spit all over a roaring mob. But there was any of that. But that pumping madman man was speaking before the crowd, sure. He was talking about relatively boring topics. Stupid, boring bastard. Oh boy, bastard talking to slime away about democracy, and he thought they weren't some swamp creature himself with years of philanthropy behind him and much more corruption to follow. He was on board for looking to sad. Look, They get this assembly from the side street. Nearby, chuckling to themselves about this fool. The future is in the youth. It would be a way to showcase and dance how the human dress and behave themselves. Tight fitting leather jackets, clean shaven, and brandishing clubs and chains. Nothing in the romantic pattern, or the softness and the modern liberal tolerate here. These men were speed demons serving the fast life in youth. They also enjoyed violence. Now more son of the Jean Guy Ghana. Let's see the bastard out, said Ghana, walking up to the closet, casually swung over each chain around one arm. Speaker saw him report to the city shire. Look, people, bully to the escadron. No, that's not the science, like they did there in Orleans. The guard turned to face the boy, began booing and hissing him. Don't let us only introduction our forefathers died for, the speaker squeaked out. God, it's getting effectively for someone to do something. Gunner whipped the chain at someone in the crowd and smacked some unfortunate bank clerk over, while a schoolteacher nearby stumbled over trying to avoid the springing club from another of the escadron. The crowd was trying to move away, but even as a few members moved towards the comfort of the game. Leave boys, none of y'all enough to remember the war. You don't have to fight roughly an older man at them. He had bet it's 50-50, judging by the green being swollen paunch. One of the gang tried to smack him with a club, but the man anticipated. He could still deal at the old right hook now and then. He wanted the boy and crack their jaw, but it was all he had in him. A few moments later, the executioner smacked him to the ground. He was bleeding. The crowd dispersed rapidly, leaving only the speaker and a few hangers around him. Where were they toys? This is a peaceful rally and allowed. Was it not? Gunner strode to the stage and making an entrance and grinning madly. Finally, the speaker spoke with her. Now step closer. We here will all die for freedom. Gunner sighed and chuckled a little and punched the speaker right in the face. They broke his nose and the poor man fell over with the assistance who was struggling with the rest of the gang, all fleeing the scene. We can beat you mercilessly instead. Surely a monster like you feel shame for what you are doing? But I have no shame and therefore cannot be a monster, came the reply. The last thing the poor speaker could remember was a heavy leather boot stopping on his face. Bloody thou art, bloody will be thy end. Yeah. There's a little taste of things to come over here. So next time we're probably gonna be reading the reason why the video will be happening, not changing. Or I try to focus you for changing. But I'm gonna go a bit. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.